What?
Okay.
Jumping around.
All right, this is the January 14th, 2025 meeting of the Mooring Committee of the Harbor Management Commission. I am Jeffrey Warren, and in attendance we have Chris Smith, Chair of the Harbor Management Commission, and we have Harbor Master Brian Leclerc and Deputy Harbor Master John Dean. I guess we do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. This committee has not met for a year and a half, and so I thought it would be good for me to just review what the origins of this committee are and what our purpose is. So I made copies of the section of the where it describes this committee's charge, and so that's from the Rules and Regulations section of the Harbor Management Plan, where it says what this committee is supposed to do, and this is from the Harbor Management Plan. So if we look at
this is from the Harbor Management Plan. This is from
that's from the rules and regulations. That was the addendum updated version from 2021, which is an addendum to the Harbor Management Plan. So
at the end of the plan, they had to come up with rules. I guess the last time they did them was 2021. They updated the rules.
Right, and that's where this comes from. So basically, it says the Mooring Committee of the HMC shall be appointed by the chairman of the HMC and shall consist of at least 2 members of the HMC plus the harbor master as an ex officio member. The Mooring Committee shall assist the harbor master with matters pertaining to the mooring, anchoring, docking, and permitting of vessels in the harbor management area, with other matters concerning safe and efficient operation of the HMA in a manner consistent with the Harbor Management Plan. The Mooring Committee shall report regularly to the HMC, make recommendations to the HMC, and otherwise assist the HMC in the implementation of the Harbor Management Plan and these rules and procedures in the most efficient manner. And then, so that's pretty straightforward. So the upshot is that the harbor master is not a member of the commission. He's a state employee, and so our task is to assist him with the tasks of relevant to the moorings in the harbor, and that's what it's been. So, in the past. In the distant past, the harbor master's job was a little bit different because we didn't have the online mooring. So there was this enormous task of sending out letters and receiving them back and depositing checks and keeping all these written records. And now we have this online system that makes the makes it a lot more transparent because we can just go online, get all the reports, see exactly what everything's going on, And so I don't feel the need, we really have as much of a need for monthly meetings for this kind of thing because we have all the information, or most of the information at our fingertips. However, we are required to have this committee because of the Harbor Management Plan. So I thought it would be best if we have at least one meeting and kind of go from there.
It doesn't stipulate that you have to have it every month.
Doesn't stipulate they have to have meetings at all.
Yeah, it just says you have to have a committee.
Committee, right, exactly. So, in this other document that came from 1995 in the Harbor Management Plan, it kind of spells a few other details out. But the thing that kind of caught my attention is the harbor master's position is a part-time position supported by limited resources. And as a result, there will be continued need for the Harbor Management Commission to provide certain assistance to the harbor master in the conduct of his duties without taking over any of his powers or authorities. Accordingly, the harbor master may be assisted in his duties by a dock master or other individual or organization authorized by the Harbor Management Commission. So, with that said, we can go to our agenda, I guess, and our harbor master's report.
This is the busy time of year, dredging aside, and we'll talk about dredging activities in a second. So the renewals went live again on January 1st. I met with Online Mooring before then. They've made some changes which are actually good regarding the dates that are tracked with registrations and insurance certificates, and they believe they're going to be able to pull from the state the updated registrations and put them in.
Oh.
So at least the dates have been perfect this year. Instead of me having to change dates because people don't keep them right, the dates are all matching the document. So I think when they're getting put in, they're getting picked up by that. So it's working really well.
Wow.
That said, I was very excited, except January 1st, the system glitched regarding the renewals of wait list positions. Two people emailed me first thing in the morning saying that they're getting this error, this gobbledygook message, if you will, just a code message, and they couldn't pay their $10 or renew. I then realized that two people got around that. They were very determined to renew their wait list positions. They actually entered a registration and insurance for their existing boat, thinking I needed that for renewal. The system saw that and said, oh, Ryan gave him a mooring, and it congratulated him on getting a mooring in the harbor. So I had to shut the thing down really quickly and tell them, sorry. And one was, they were both very nice. They said, I was wondering how that happened. They paid their money, too.
Oh.
They got billed $345, or $405, whatever the number. They actually entered it, paid the money, and they said, boy, that was fast getting a mooring spot. And then...
And that's great.
That'll happen because they put their documents in?
Because when they couldn't hit the $10 renewal, they just got creative and said, let me enter maybe they need boat information, maybe something new, registration, insurance, and the system said, all right, you gave us that.
Yeah.
We'd like your fee for the mooring. They paid that by credit card without question.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So I'm surprised that's never happened before.
They don't know why it happened.
Oh, I see.
I think the tech support couldn't take care of it. They had to go to one of the head people, the coder.
Yeah.
They don't know what happened.
Okay.
Something glitched on them, and they caught it, and they fixed it right away. The only other issue was one gentleman got charged $1,000 instead of $10, and the same thing happened last year.
Same person?
Same person. And I can't figure why. So I went in there and manually changed it, and it didn't hold. I went in and manually changed it to $10 again, and then it worked. So he's on the wait list. He paid his $10. But that's a glitch that we still can't figure out, that little thing. But I back it up anyways. Before the season, like this is December 26th to 28th, I do a manual old-fashioned backup of the list because I just don't trust something going wrong. I know they tell me they're backed up and in archives. I just like having little pieces of paper just in case, God forbid, something happened. I know everyone's position and where their mooring was and who was on the waiting list.
How many people are on the waiting list now?
So I could say, so on the waiting list we have 86 people. And so it went fine. Since they corrected that, and they were very good. They did this January 2nd, first thing in the morning, that Friday. They didn't take any long weekends. And everything's been running quite well, I might add. They have no issues. A few people uploaded the wrong documents, and were confused. I did catch a couple of people, interestingly, who had the wrong VIN numbers on their insurance, the correct vessel, the correct coverage, listing them, like a Beneteau 40 or whatever, but the VIN numbers didn't match. The names matched and everything else. So some insurance agent, I think, may have carried an old number. So I just told them, because I don't want them to have an insurance issue, God forbid they have a claim, and they're saying, oh, that's not the right boat. That's supposed to be a different boat. And
that's pretty meticulous on your part. You're actually checking the VIN?
I do.
Wow.
I check the registration to make sure it matches. I check the name, the address, and the VINs, just to make sure we have I don't want to have a claim, and then, he hits your boat, and then they declaim, they just claim. I don't trust insurance companies, because, they could do something like that. Another company I found had the boat listed as spending, and I know it's in the harbor all year, in Norwalk at Rex Marine for the summer. So that's where it goes for the winter, I believe, but not for the summer. So I had him correct that as well, because the carrier could deny coverage on a claim. Why was your boat in the harbor? That you didn't tell us that. So I always watch for those. I check addresses, exact names, so no one tries to pull anything.
Oh, right.
Yeah, my insurance covers me for the entire East Coast, wherever I am in that sailing area.
Some policies, their deck sheets say where the boat spends the summer, where its permanent location is.
It just says that it's to be winterized, so it's no longer traveling and you being utilized.
Okay, yeah. Some policies with the location, summer and winter homes. So it depends on the carriers. But we get through that. So the renewals are going fine. Other than that, I've got a couple of people are getting bigger boats, which is nice. Good news is they both fit in their designated spots. One person is thinking of getting a boat, but he doesn't want to lose his mooring, so I told him how big he can be. You know, he can go from like 22 to 25-ish, and he'll fit. So he's going to try to get a boat that fits there. The boats. I think everyone, no one has said they're not renewing. Frostic, so the numbers of renewals, we have 23 of 78 mooring holders have already renewed with 100% of their documents. 4 were incomplete. Those were because 2 people, I believe, wanted to send checks, and 2 of them sent wrong documentation. One of their documents was wrong, and I noted it. So we really have 27 of 78 who have done that already. We're not even halfway through the month, so that's pretty good. Right, people will do it. Of the wait list, 49 of 86 people have done it as of this morning. Probably a half dozen came in today of different people with more documents as they get around to it. So the numbers are coming in just fine. No one has expressed any. A few people had minor issues, claiming they didn't get my emails, and then so I sent it out again, and they got the next one. So I think they just missed it, but no big deals.
And we just get one big check from people at Yakup for the North Anchorage.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, okay.
They'll send us a check for the North Anchorage and then their docks.
And the docks, yeah.
The floating docks. And they're usually pretty good about that. They are good about that. So the one I wanted to just mention to you is Frostic. Mr. Frostic was Lower Wharf 2. That's one of the ones right off the dinghy dock. He died last year, and when it was time to renew, and his family reached out, and they wanted me to give it to the children. And I said, we can't do that under the rules. It can go to a spouse only if the commission, on my recommendation, I have to recommend to the commission that it be transferred to a spouse. And so I recommended it, and the commission agreed.
We talked about that, last time.
Last spring. So I reached out to the family, because by April I hadn't heard anything. And they said, well, Mom doesn't really drive the boat, and blah, blah. And I said, look, if it's going to Mom, it has to be registered, insured, and she needs a safe boating certificate. Otherwise, you're giving it to a kid, and kid doesn't count. You need to have it in the registered owner of that boat who has the mooring. That has to be the boater. That's our rules. So then they said they're working on some probate issues, and, they need a little more time. I've not heard from them since April. I checked probate. I don't see that there's even a probate case in Connecticut. I know there's no probate estate in Connecticut even opens for them, under that name, under the Frostic name. So I've heard nothing. So I don't think we can and should keep hold of this for them. I mean, it's up to, I'm interested in your thoughts, whether I reach out again and saying, last year we didn't press it hard because we thought the dredging might be beginning. And I needed some spots, including that one, to move boats away from the dredging area because we thought they were coming during the boating season. So I wanted to be able to move the people across, and I needed every spot I had, plus Lower Wharf. Perry Green was under construction, so I needed to try to keep spaces available depending on what happened. But this year, we can't have it empty for the year.
Yeah.
And
so should we give her a deadline?
We can. We can just tell them, hey, I can send them an email that they didn't do it last year.
Yeah.
And this year, if they're not prepared to do everything by January 31st, in 2 weeks, they would have reached. I would think if you wanted that mooring, you would have. This is important.
Yeah. That seems pretty reasonable. So
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could do that. So then, speaking of moorings, we had the necessary moorings. We met with the Army Corps, and we had the moorings on the east side pulled. A number of moorings, probably a few more than we had to, but once they're out, they're pulling 2 extra moorings. It's a big safety margin to have in that dredging area. So I talked to the captain of the Murden after our meeting last week. He was up there. We went out there, and he thought that was great that we pulled that many because he didn't want to bump into anything.
Right.
He was concerned he'd hook them by mistake. And then in talking to him, we talked about the 2 speed 5-mile-an-hour buoys in the harbor, the extra one we added last year where it was shoaling. And I showed them to him, and his comment was, that's a narrow harbor. You've got narrow channel. Just looking at it.
Just realizing that.
We went out there at dead low tide. This was the captain. He was like, wow. That is
Yeah.
zero.
There's no cruise ships coming in here.
'Cause I don't know, so he had me pull those, which we pulled today. It's by the boat you saw there. The yacht club pulled the ones we left. We left them instead of pulling them just to have.
So you could show them
Just to show, because we had this survey boat coming in, and the Army Corps sent their shuttle boat in, so just to kind of keep people lined up and to show him. And I showed him where the corner problem was, where it's silting in by that last red buoy, where it gets shallow at low tide. I said, so if you happen to go by and, you want to a little bit while you're there, just feel free to kind of nod it,
Wink, nod.
wink, nod, if I happen to be going by, I said, I don't want you to run aground, Captain, and, if you're in the channel, you may bump at the low tide, because that's, coming in there, and you are in the channel.
He will bump.
He will bump. So I said, so just be prepared if you do a bump, you may want to bump and scoop or bump and suck, and we have no objection to that.
But I mean, it's on both sides, on the red and the green, right?
Well, no, the green side.
As you headed out.
Okay.
Well, sometimes that green can is lying on its side. You can see him, you can probably walk through
You
it.
can walk within a few feet of it, but then it does drop off. It's the red one, that if you're the can and I'm in the channel, I was getting like this much water, which is not good. So there, everything looks good. I think the boat will be here Thursday. We don't have to move anything else, mooring-wise.
So those extra moorings that you pulled, those would probably need to be relocated anyway, right? Because it's going to be so much wider there?
We put them there because people coming around the corner, once they get past the last red one, we don't want folks going, we kind of got to guide them to, center. It's hard if you don't know the channel, I think, to come. We need speed buoys anyways, everyone, you know how well they all slow down there. It's quite nice to watch it. The boats come in, they see them, they drop down to no wake, and it gives you a way to line up straight in. So I think we should probably keep them. Same thing. They do a good job.
Yeah.
If nothing else but slowing boats.
But the regular moorings that you pulled, those are probably going to be a different location because of the dredging. Right?
We'll have to look at that because we can't go in the channel either. So if they made the channel where it's supposed to be, that's how we got in trouble when they started this. The first survey, we had a mooring past Souffle on the right that was sitting in the channel. Even though, so we had they were not happy about that. We got to pull it and remove that one.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at that, and I'll talk to you once I talk to Jeff and the surveyors.
Right.
Can we squeeze any more? And we might.
Yeah.
We might. So we have to look at that carefully.
Yeah.
So that's going really well. We're getting a lot of phone calls. I get calls all the time from people about this, about them. They see my number at Yacht Yard, and they're all hanging out there watching all day, apparently calling, wanting to know, is it deep enough for my boat? How deep are you making it? Is it, we're making it 3 feet. What do you think we're doing? Someone had on Facebook today, the town put up the drone photo, and people were commenting, and it was so, my friend has a Beneteau that draws 7 feet and bumps coming in all the time at low tide. Hopefully this is deep enough.
Yeah. Right.
I
think I saw a piping plover with feet sticking out from under the sand.
Over. Let me say that word. Bad enough that Jeff and Kim had to plant all the flowers again, or replant the beach roses. I don't know if they are roses.
Yeah, the roses are invasive, apparently.
They're invasive. We had invasive roses.
Yeah.
So the good news is the moorings are going nice. The renewals of the moorings are going nice, and I think everything will be good. We'll probably talk as we know more about can we fit any more moorings in, but everything seems to be under control. And Perry Green, that is a location for moorings, as you know. We have like a half dozen, and the town keeps a few. I had them put cleats in at every other piling against the shore. There's the pilings right against the wall. And it's easier if we just have more done than not have, because they didn't know where to put them. And I said, how about every other one? And they said, fine, we got enough of that. We'll do that. And this way we can decide how we want to put them in when we're done.
That's our responsibility to...
Well, we put the moorings in, and then they always have like a pipe or something they used to do is kind of affix them. But they use, the mooring is the one from shore to kind of pull your boat in if you're going to do one of those...
Clothesline type
clothesline,
things.
clothesline type things.
Yeah.
So this way, it's better to have them everywhere, and then we can decide where they best fit, rather than trying to get out there in the winter and decide, put one there, then skip two.
Right.
It's easier.
Yeah.
We have more flexibility that way, too. Maybe we can squeeze another one in there. I don't know. We'll look.
Yeah, the new wall looks great.
It does look nice.
Don't know why they didn't raise it up another 3 feet for the 100-year storm.
Yeah, because that floods, right?
Yeah. I mean, It was replaced because it was rotting.
Yeah.
But the conditions are, water comes up there at high tide above those.
All the time, yeah.
All the time. And the
Yeah.
storm surge, I don't know, if they'd gone up another 3 feet, like Pequot, it's looking to put in slightly higher bulkhead
Yeah.
in order to accommodate the 100-year storms. All the way along, right up to the Rossow property.
Right. I don't know if we can really build a dike, a dike.
No.
We're gonna get in somewhere.
I think it helps,
Yeah.
but it doesn't stop at all.
Right.
Because water will get through.
Yeah. Right.
So that's kind of what's on,
Okay.
We're having coffee with the harbor masters Saturday from 9 to noon.
Cool.
Maybe you want to stop by. Just the public, just for a way for them to, folks like coming out, watch what's going on. There's a lot of people down there all the time, taking pictures on Facebook, sending me pictures of what they're looking at, having a great time watching the dredging. It's very exciting. Source of winter entertainment. And no complaints. Knock on wood, not one person has said a negative thing about it. Not the noise, not the visuals, nothing.
Amazing.
The Merton's not here all night, so we'll see.
That's the money.
But the captain's not coming all the way in. He had another idea. He's not coming in and turning around where it gets wide towards the club. He's going to come in and tuck the bow in before Lower Wharf, and then swing the boat around on its bow, so it's now facing out, so he loads it on the port side. I can pull straight out. He thinks that's more efficient, and yeah.
So, if he's coming in here like this, apparently, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Here's the sandbank, and here's the wharf.
Yeah.
He comes in, and then comes in here like this. He doesn't drop an anchor or anything like that, but with bow thruster, and he's got those K-pods that go bzz, 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 underneath, he can just stop his boat and let his stern float in. Now he's port side to the pile, and he can load right onto it, because he can't back up.
Right.
And then go right back out. But it's amazing to think that he has 156 feet.
Yeah.
Because at this point, my pen doesn't fit.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun watching him do that.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting.
But he's a pro. He knows what he's doing.
He's not at all concerned about it.
This is not his first rodeo. He's looked at the charts. He knows what he's dealing with. He's come and looked at the site. So he's ready.
As we said, this is the guy coming up that we met with. He's the one who's going to be driving it up Wednesday.
Yeah.
So he looked at it and he's not at all.
Couldn't think, I wonder where it is right now.
I can see he figures he can dig his way out of any tight spot.
I guess that's a good point too.
He's still nearby.
He doesn't back up the boat really well. He's got to do K turns and that.
He's still on the Jersey Shore.
I know. Let's say Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so if they leave, even if that thing moves.
It doesn't move 2 knots. It moves 7 or 8 knots.
That's what I mean. Right,
Yeah, I thought it was very, very slow, but it's not.
It made it up to New York 2 weeks ago. You saw that and pulled in and made it for the. So that'll be a fun trip. Yeah, so you don't go down there and meet them and
Right.
so ride up to show them the way to the harbor.
Pilot.
You feel like the pilot. So don't say anything in New York and get us in trouble. You wouldn't want to pilot anything through there.
I was curious about something. We used to have a map or a chart on the website that showed the position of every mooring. It's not there anymore. Is it,
No. You mean the drawing we have that shows?
Yeah, it shows the location of each mooring. I just wanted to kind of review where the moorings are, and I had one on there I couldn't find.
Right.
Jeff has that, I think.
Yeah.
Jeff 7.
I have drawings.
Jeff
I have pictures.
Engborg.
Oh, okay.
He'll have it.
Oh, okay.
If you want, I
Because
can send you one.
he puts them down, so he's got to have that.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got a lot of really detailed, the longitude, latitude. He's got incredible details as to where
Yeah.
they go exactly to the inch. They're very
Yeah.
precise because we don't have a lot of room to be off.
That's for sure. Yeah.
And there's some spots with ledge where we got to tuck them in just right so they don't drag. If you put them on the side, they'll just they're not going to hold right, so they know exactly where to put them.
Is he using just GPS for that, or some kind of surveying?
And sticks.
And sticks.
They put some kind of a pole up. They talk about doing. Travis talks about his pole system to line it up with something.
Oh,
and they line it up almost like the range, the old. If I'm going to be here, I got to be between the two intersections of the flagpole off of his house and the front door here, and it meets that point, which better match the Jeep. They're very precise.
Yeah.
They talk about that.
When we get invoice from Pequot who gets that invoice? Do you receive that, or does that?
I think I do and the chairman does, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I haven't got it.
Okay.
So there was some work that was done before I became chair.
Yeah.
And it was the authorization to do work that Jeff Engborg said, well, we hadn't done it for the last couple of years, but we did do it. I'll do it again, and send it in and was approved. You approved it,
Right.
Don approved it, and off it went, I think.
Okay. So it just seems like the commission should approve payment of those invoices, right? I mean, they should look at them before they're paid.
I don't know if the whole commission does.
Well, I mean, somebody should look at them.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's not just me. I'll
Not
look
just-
at them.
yeah.
I mean, I'll be one of the people they send it to, and I'm like,
Right.
just tell me, yeah, that work was done. And
Yeah.
then someone else looks to see if the numbers right.
Betty will probably get it,
Betty
hand it
will.
to you, to Jeff,
Right.
Stedman, to the chairman, and,
Okay.
probably you as, the mooring chair.
Yeah, well, in the past, I haven't seen any of those. That's why I was just curious, who was getting them, but, okay. All right,
They're not the promptest of invoicers either. They get busy and.
so my big question is, our charges to assist you, is there anything else we can do to assist you?
Someone's got to paint the bottom of the whaler.
Oh.
You do it with varnish?
You scrape barnacles, I'll do the painting.
I'll do the right work.
He had me there for a minute. Yeah.
No, the system, it's, John's been to the training class. The system is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I know my predecessor had a lot of trouble with it.
Right.
It's really not.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought it came
No.
during your watch.
No.
Oh.
Well, what is this?
The system, the online mooring. My predecessor had online mooring.
Okay.
There's no public here, right? No.
Yeah.
He,
It's recorded, though.
it is recorded, yeah, so he had difficulty with it,
Okay.
with the system, but, I don't.
Yeah.
I think, they're very helpful to tech support. I
Yeah.
very rarely ever have to call them, Jen, anymore, because
Right.
it's, they made some tweaks, and I think it's just it's not always intuitive, but if you think about what you're trying to do, it works.
Yeah.
It works well.
All right.
It has a lot of more features than we use. They really tailored it for us, but there's a lot you can do with it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I can enter the longitude and latitude of everyone's boat, because some towns have to do that, because they don't have they let people, like Black Rock Harbor, if I was running that harbor, you can authorize people to put them in at a certain launch lat, their moorings, and then record them on online mooring, and then go out there and double check that they've given you the right coordinates, as opposed to we assign people to where we put them. Some towns, people can put them anywhere they fit, but then you have to be able to check.
Oh, I see.
And online mooring has a feature, you can even go on the boat with the app and decide, all right, here's a spot, push it, and then you now marked a spot for it.
Wow.
So, pretty cool.
Wow.
But there's not a lot other than that, there's not.
Yeah. So, I know they used to meet monthly, and I thought there's no way in the world we need to meet monthly. So I did set up 4 meetings, one in March, one in May, one in October. I think what I'll do is what we did last year is kind of confer with everyone, see whether there's a need for an in-person meeting. I think it would be nice to keep the October one, because I think after the fiscal year ends in the end of June, we have all our numbers. Even though we work on a calendar year, the town works on a fiscal year, but all our calendar year stuff is usually done by the end of the fiscal year. So we can put together another report like we did, this past fall, of all our expenses and the 102 account balances, and kind of, so we can at least review the year and plan for the next year, see if we need to raise more fees or whatever. So I think what we'll do is we'll play it by ear with the other meetings and see whether they're really necessary.
And March is good too, because we'll know the people that have gotten they missed the January deadline, they have the extension to do it.
Right.
We'll know who's not coming back, if anyone, and we'll talk about, look at the list, who's going to get the next ones.
Right.
The times we have to jump on the waiting list, we might have to skip over people, because if you're first on the list, for instance, and, some of these boats are big, you may have a very big sailboat. If I have a spot on the west wall, the Midwest wall, and you have a 48-foot sailboat, you can't fit there.
Right.
Then we have to start talking about, can I move people? Can I pull someone out of a spot? I try not to have them in the spots. I try to leave the helix with the big sailboats, because it would be silly putting a 25-foot power boat there, because it's made for big sailboats.
Right.
So you try to do that little balancing. Sometimes you have to skip a person just to make the right boat go in the right spot.
Sure.
So we have to, we could.
Best use, yeah.
Best use, because otherwise that's one of the requirements, the criteria we have to maintain, the integrity and the aesthetics of the harbor.
Right.
Putting the boats in the right
And
spot.
safety.
And safety, yeah, where boats fit, so.
Is the mooring maintenance, for 2025 going to be one of those expensive years?
No, I think it's
The
North Anchorage.
hauling of the moorings,
The North Anchorage, I believe, this year.
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And that's not a,
That's minimal expense because Bayflot pays for the whole thing, okay.
Yeah.
we'll have a few $1,000 to, they didn't pull the moorings, what did they do? They dropped, no, they didn't pull them, actually. They pulled out those first few coming in. So, but that, he said they could, taking them out and putting them in at less than $2,000.
Yeah,
So that's a very small amount.
good.
Well, they're out there anyways, just to grab a few. And we pay every year to take the buoys in anyways, the danger
Oh, right.
signs. It's just a matter of when we take them in for maintenance.
Yeah,
Clean them up, new stickers if we need them.
yeah,
Those are just mushroom anchors, right?
yeah, those are actually really important for navigating into the harbor.
Always center yourself between the
I love
guys.
it. They're so, without them, it looks way too wide and confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a visitor, you may end up,
Especially a visitor.
you may end up
They have
to the
no
west.
idea what they're doing.
I have a son-in-law or somebody at the wheel, and I'm saying, make sure you send yourself right between there, not too far over there.
And that's that dock, but not too close to that
Yeah.
dingy dock.
All
You
right.
can get pretty close to the yield,
Yeah.
the lower jetty.
Yeah.
The lower wharf.
Oh, that's great, right.
You can get pretty close to that.
Still a little under.
All right, I think we can adjourn.
Beautiful.
Okay, great. Let me see what I do here, let's see.